Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1935, written by hervararsaga. København dreams, disappearing store, or so it seems. Many years ago, I was visiting my friends in another country, Denmark, because they were getting married. I was joined by my mother and her partner. I had to buy a dress for the occasion, so a few days before the wedding, the three of us went shopping on a Straget in København. I was really optimistic about finding a dress, but it turned out that most of the shops only had stuff that I didn't like. The colors that were in fashion that summer were rather dull, in my opinion. It started to rain a lot, and we had been walking around for hours, but I finally noticed a store that I had always liked a lot. It's a chain, and me and my mom went in there, while her partner smoked a cigarette under a little vestibule outside of the store, but he was happy to be able to finally have a smoke while we looked around inside. He smoked a lot. I will never forget what we saw inside. The store was full of people, but also the clothes were beautiful. They were almost exclusively in colors that I like. Lots of purple dresses in all shapes and sizes, and skirts that had patterns from gold, purple, and whatnot. I said to my mom that this was definitely what I needed, and I would be buying lots of things. Not just one dress, and she agreed. Even though this shop was mostly for younger women, she saw things that she wanted too. We both had wet hair and clothes from the rain. So we decided to come back again the day after and go straight to the store because we didn't want to be trying stuff on while wet. And we wanted to have lots of time and not leave her partner staying outside for long. Also, this store, unlike the others we had been to that day, was full of people. It was on 2 floors, and we could only see the stairs leading to the top floor and glimpsed a tiny bit of what was up there. But judging from what was downstairs, we were sure it would be just as great. So we left, went straight home, and I was giddy with excitement about the next day. I don't like buying clothes for myself, and this is the only time I've ever been giddy about clothes shopping. Now, on to the next day. We went straight to the store. It was a bit of a walk from the bus stop, but right away I noticed something was off. It had the same sign outside, so it was definitely the same place. A drugstore I had visited before going in there was still across the street, but there were some things that didn't look the same. I shook off the feeling and went in, really excited, as was my mom, but inside the store, there was nothing but the same dull stuff that was in every other shop that year. Boring clothes, etc., and it looked completely different in every way. I remember my mom's disappointment. She ran up to the woman working there and asked if they had changed everything overnight. She was like, "No, we only bring in new stuff once a week." There was no second floor either. Literally nothing looked the same inside. We had to face the fact that we weren't going to be seeing any of those beautiful clothes again. One other thing that we noticed after coming back outside was that the vestibule that my mom's partner had stood under while smoking in the rain wasn't there anymore. I have often wondered about this, and me and my mom used to talk about it a lot, and she was sad about it for years. She's really into clothes. It's probably the only time me and her bonded over clothes, and I wonder what would have happened if we had bought anything there. And is this stuff like possibly happening more than we think? I've only ever heard of one similar story where a guy working in Iran went to a really nice diner in a mountain village that was on the 2nd floor above a gas station. Everyone he worked with said he was making it up because it made no sense that a fancy diner would be operating in such a remote place. But he took them there one day, really excited to show them that he was right. And then, when they get to this particular village, which looked the same as most others in the area, everything just looks as he remembers. The same gas station is there, but there's no 2nd floor. He remembered it being the best dinner he had ever had, and so cheap that he couldn't believe it. I can still vividly remember the interior of the store, the beautiful colors I saw that day. I would describe them as dreamy. Another thing that made this store different from all the others was that it was full of people. There are lots of clothes stores on Stroget, and none of them had been particularly busy that day. Far from it even. Then why would this one have been so crowded and full? Anyway, this is one of the strangest things that has ever happened to me. I was making a list of stuff like this while watching the TV show Dark with my husband. He thinks strange stuff is always happening to me, but he agreed that this was probably the strangest, and the fact that my mother experienced it too. And her partner, who doesn't believe in anything supernatural, makes it impossible to deny. Kesansfall 1935. København dreams a disappearing store, or so it seems. So I think much like there are space-time portals that occupy the world, especially when you're driving on roads, there must be space-time portals that intersect with other universes as well. So people aren't just zipping over there only in their conscious minds, because they have friends over, they even interact and feel the material there. They truly do go to a different universe, and in this case, all three of you did, I believe. But in that universe, things can be entirely different. And the question is, in my mind, at least this is still just theory, the closer you are to a different parallel universe, the more things are similar. So the universes right on top of us are probably more or less the same, minor details. But then if you jump really far away, you could have massive differences. Entirely different species, different planet structure, etc. Now, somewhere in the middle, you can just have big differences, like a store that is entirely different. Different clothes, doesn't even have a second floor. So I think that's what happened. It's just a space-time anomaly that transitioned you between universes. And I guess it probably was in the same spot. So when you left the store and walked back the same way, then you just intersected it again and were ported back. And it's all seamless. You know, there's no crackling of energy or anything like that to denote it's a portal. No, you don't see it. Unless it's at the end or beginning. Because we have had examples of portals where there was energy and it was like unstable. My guess is that's either when it's just forming or at the end when it's actually unstable. One or the other. Now time for the joke of the day. I asked the waitress, "Can I ask you a question about the menu, please?" And she slapped me across the face. She said, "The men I please are of no concern to you." Yeah, that'd be rather private. How dare he ask that question? Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony, signing off.